Welcome everyone. We're ready to start our webinar today. Thanks for visiting our website and signing up to our online business training. And today's webinar is WordPress e-commerce setup shop on your WordPress website. So as always, we just want to make sure you can hear our presentation and see my slideshow. So if you can type in yes into the chat boxes for me. Just going to check that now. Thanks Martin, Caroline, yes, so we've got some people coming in saying yes. Thanks very much everyone. So in the same box as well, as we go in, if you think of any questions you want to ask us, and any we can't answer at the end, we will get back to you, I promise you. So just type your questions in as we go, okay, into those chat boxes as well. So today you've got myself, Matt Cooper, Customer Care Team Leader at names.co.uk and Register 365, and I'm joined by Ben again. Welcome.
Hi there.
Hi Ben, and he's our front-end developer and resident WordPress expert. And you may remember us from our previous webinar, which was setting up the photography site, wasn't it, in WordPress? Mm-hmm. And we're continuing the work we did on the last webinar, but this time on a subdomain. So if you want to follow our progress, just simply open another browser window and type in shop.wordpresswebinars.com. So it's wordpresswebinars.com with just the shop part at the beginning, okay? Brilliant. So today we're going to show you how to extend the functionality Ben made in the photography website by adding the WooCommerce plugin to your website. So this allows you to sell items, both physical and digital, on your website. Ben's going to show you how to set up the VAT, delivery and postage charges, how to set up the payment processes, of course, so you can take some money, and monitor those sales that come in, and some extras as well. So I'm going to hand over the screen to Ben now, and he's going to walk you through setting up the shop. I'm just going to switch over the tabs. That's what we opened earlier. There we go. Over to you, Ben.
Cool. Thanks very much, Matt. So yeah, as Matt mentioned earlier, what we've done, we've duplicated the website we created in the previous webinar, how to make a WordPress website or blog. If you haven't seen that, definitely worth checking that out. It's a really good kind of introduction to everything, and it's available on our YouTube channels. So as Matt mentioned, this time we're working on the shop.wordpresswebinars.com domain, and it's continuing in the same kind of theme as we did last time. So as if the shop owner is a photographer, or the website owner is a photographer, and of course we're going to add some e-commerce capabilities, allowing the website owner to sell their images in a digital or downloadable form, and also in a physical form, and we're going to add some variations to those products as well. First thing to do, actually, if we jump back into the WordPress dashboard, one thing I want to cover right at the start is SSL and security on your website. What we've done, we've gone ahead and added a SSL certificate that is available on https://shop.wordpresswebinars.com.
We've got an SSL installed here, so we're just checking this. As always with a live presentation, you normally get some sort of... That should resolve now, should it? No, well, we've installed an SSL anyway on there, okay? We haven't got it working live for you today, but use your imagination. There should be a little green HTTPS in the top left-hand corner, okay?
No worries. Slight technical hitch there, but SSL, give you a kind of a bit of background, a bit of reasoning behind that. When you are dealing with customer information, their names, addresses, depending on the payment process that you actually use, you want to make sure that the communication or the tunnel between the customer's browser and the website is encrypted. Not only does it add a layer of security to the site, it also gives your potential customers a really good impression of your site that you're taking security seriously. Okay, so in the dashboard here, we'll go straight down to the plugins and add a new plugin. If we do a search for WooCommerce in the top there and hit enter, We'll go to Add New actually and do it for the search box there. And you can see there the first result that comes up is for the WooCommerce plugin. So we'll click on Install now and then click on OK. Takes a bit of time to install the plugin, but as a quick kind of overview, WooCommerce is a really good e-commerce platform. It's a really good way for you guys to start selling products on your website. Comes with a lot of the features that you'd expect on really quite expensive or well-established e-commerce platforms. Reviews and ratings, for example, really good reporting in the back end, and email notifications. When you make a sale, you get customers get an email coming out, and you'll get an email notification as well. We'll cover a lot of this as we go along. So that's been installed now. If we click on the Activate Plugin option, and you'll see on the plugin page that loads up, straight away there's a dialog box at the top here that's actually really, really useful, and I'd recommend using it. When you install the plugin, it gives you the option to install the WooCommerce pages, and it does a lot of the configuring for the shop automatically for you. So if you click on Install WooCommerce, and you then get the WooCommerce confirmation page come up. If we come back to the front end of the website though and just take a quick look and quick refresh for those who followed along last time, or if you're seeing it for the first time, we've got a header image at the top here with navigation, horizontal navigation. As you scroll down, that then glues to the top of the page. You can see here we've got the pages that we created last time. So coming back to the back end, obviously we've just created the WooCommerce pages. If we go into the pages list, you can see the existing pages that we created last time, so home, gallery, news, and contact. And then also, they're listed alphabetically, also the additional pages that WooCommerce has created, so cart, checkout, my contact, my account, and shop. So we want to add a couple of those pages straight away to our navigation. So if we go across to Appearance and then come down to Menus, you can see here's the menu system that we've got in place at the moment, and you can see here on the most recent tab the additional pages that have just been installed as well. So we want to add probably the cart and the shop pages to the menu as well. So click on Add to Menu, and you see they appear on the right hand side here. It's the drag and drop interface that we used last time. So we'll just click and drag and adjust the positioning of these how we want them. And if we click on Save Menu, come back to the front page of our website and refresh again. And you can see here we've now got the two additional page elements that you want to make available to your customers. So if we click on Shop, you can see you get a message that will pop up indicating that there's no products in the shop at the moment. And similarly with Cart, it will just tell us that there's no products actually in the cart. So if we jump back into the back end, we'll go through some of the settings with WooCommerce. In the left-hand menu on the side here, we've got two additional menu items that weren't there before: the WooCommerce menu and the products menu. We'll go through a few of these as the webinar goes on. WooCommerce on the left-hand side here, you've got an orders sub-menu item. Any orders that you receive that your customers make, they'll all be listed on here, and you'll be able to see the delivery addresses, for example, the totals, and you'll be able to go into those orders and view in a bit more detail about what your customers have actually purchased. The second option on here is coupons. Really good feature that comes with WooCommerce is the coupon or voucher capability, allowing you to create vouchers for your products to give your customers discounts. So you can run sales from time to time, enable the coupon system, set expiry dates for those, and limit the numbers of sales that you want those coupons or vouchers to use. Really easy system, and those familiar with adding posts and pages will be familiar with both the orders and the coupons kind of system. The way that all works is it's using the WordPress functionality. Reports: as you start getting more and more sales in, you can display your sales in various different ways. See what products are selling really well. See at what point in the month you get your most sales, for example. Maybe make decisions on your marketing based on that as well. With any of your sales, you can choose to export via or to CSV file. This then facilitates really easy kind of integrating into Excel or into any accounting package that you might use. Settings is the one that we want to really concentrate on to get started today, though. When you click on the settings option, you get various tabs running across the top here, allowing you to configure your shop in various different ways. So the general tab that opens up to start off with is the one that is quite important depending on where your shop resides or where you do the majority of your business will define probably the currency that you want to work in. The drop-down box, if you're based in Ireland or in Europe, obviously you can choose euros. If you do the majority of your business in the States, you can obviously set US dollars, but there's an extensive list of the different currencies that you can make use of here. So you scroll a bit further down the page. Something that we covered in the first webinar was customizing the site with your branding and with your colors. The front-end style section here is where you can set those and align the shop functionality and the shop pages. You can align them to your branding. So it's worth taking note of here and setting these to fit in with your styling. Any change that you make, obviously remember to hit Save Changes at the bottom here. So we move across the top though, the Products tab. A few different settings for configuring the shop, your product image sizes you can set down the bottom here. But significantly, depending on how, or the two areas I really want to highlight though are the weight unit and the dimensions unit. Depending on how you want to set up shipping or delivery, you can set up, if your country predominantly uses pounds, for example, instead of kilograms, or inches instead of centimeters, you can set these options here. As we go along, we cover the shipping in a second. You can set up different shipping based on weight, and this is obviously quite important to use the units that you're familiar with. So moving along, tax is another really important one and something you need to consider before you start shopping. If you are a VAT registered business, then you can come onto the tax tab and check the enable taxes and tax calculations. There's a few settings on here, so that are really worth highlighting. As we scroll down, the price is entered with tax. So it's really whatever you feel comfortable with. If you're predominantly selling to customers that are consumers that wouldn't necessarily be able to claim back the VAT, then you probably want to work in prices inclusive of VAT. You can set that radio button there. So you scroll down, a couple of other ones that kind of coincide with that is how you want to display your prices in the shop. So you have a drop-down box here of showing the prices including VAT if you're consumers that don't claim the VAT back. If you're predominantly selling to customers that would claim the VAT back, you probably want to display your prices excluding VAT. The site will still take this into account and charge the customer VAT, but it means that the business, the end user, has a really good idea of what it's actually going to cost them once they claim their VAT back. Also, depending on these settings, it's worth setting the price display suffix. So if you're displaying your prices excluding VAT, then mention here excluding tax or excluding VAT, and the same if you're doing it including VAT, just inc.vat or something like that would work well. Thing to bear in mind as well, tick the tick box for enable taxes and tax calculations and come on to the standard rates. So obviously in the UK here, VAT is at 20%. If you're configuring it for the UK, you click on insert row and set your percentage here. You would set up different classes for different types of products. So if you are VAT registered, there's some products that you might sell that you don't actually charge VAT on. For example, children's clothing, and I think a lot of educational products, there's no VAT charge on them. So you can set up different classes here where you don't charge VAT if you are VAT registered, just by inserting additional rows and setting the VAT percentage. And then as we go a bit further on and we start configuring products, I'll show you where you can then set these classes. For the purpose of this, though, we're going to continue without being VAT registered. We'll move across to the checkout tab at the top here. So this is where you configure how you want to allow your customers to make payments on your site. So by default, if you like, fresh out the box with WooCommerce, you get a couple of different options running across the top here. So you've got backs if you want to allow your customers to be able to make bank transfers directly into your bank account. So if we click on this, sync backs is already enabled, so you can see that on here. It's enabled by default as a payment option for the customer. By check, so you'd expect the customer to send in a check and you bank it and the payments are cleared before you dispatch your product. We'll disable that for the time being and click on Save Changes. Cash on delivery, depending on the type of products that you're selling, it might be a suitable option for your customers. If you're selling large items like furniture, for example, you do your delivery in-house, then you might want to work that way, and some of your customers might prefer to pay for their goods when they're delivered. The last option that comes by default across the top here, though, is PayPal. Almost anyone has a PayPal account now. If you use eBay, for example, PayPal is the preferred payment method on eBay. By default, it's enabled, and the option is checked. At a bare minimum, the one thing you want to set in here for being able to sell by PayPal is entering in your PayPal email address. You can see we entered one in there previously. So PayPal@WordPressWebinars.com. Set that. And then obviously remembering at the bottom to save your changes. What this means is that once you've added a couple of products, and we'll go through this process and we'll show the checkout process. When the customer gets to the point when they're actually paying for it, they'll have a couple of different payment options and they can choose to pay by PayPal. PayPal standards redirects from your website to the actual PayPal website where they would log in if they're an existing PayPal customer, or they would create a new account and pay by credit card if they're a new PayPal customer. Once that process is through, they then get redirected back to your site for a payment with a payment confirmation page. So it's just something to bear in mind with the PayPal standard. While it's really convenient and really good, it does involve them actually leaving your site. Although it's a fairly automatic and transparent process, they leave their site and then are redirected back to your site. And it's a setting you want to probably configure in PayPal to where they get sent back to on your site. So moving across on shipping. Again, like the checkout, it comes with some shipping or delivery options set up by default. So we'll kind of configure a couple of these. To start off with flat rate shipping. If we enable this, so kind of fresh out of the box, it's going to give us two different types of delivery. It's really easy and simple to set up. I'm going to set up flat rate shipping where they are charged a set fee per order. And you could do that as your premium shipping, for example, so or expedited shipping. So if we change the tag on here, and I'll show you where this appears on the front end as we go along. Expedited delivery, and we'll set a cost per order of £10. As we scroll down, we'll click on Save Changes. And then as an alternative, you'll see a lot of e-commerce sites now kind of factor in the cost of their delivery or their shipping, and they offer a free shipping option. Amazon does this where it's between 5 or 7 days for delivery. So we'll enable that as well. And set the label for that shipping method that appears on the front end for 7-day delivery. So we'll save that too. Counts, it's a really good feature to try and encourage customers to come back and make their experience with you as a website where they're purchasing things from as easy and as seamless as possible. By default, when your customer checks out, they get the option of creating an account. What it means is that the website will save the customer's name, address, perhaps delivery details on your website. And the next time they come back, they can just log in. And all that information is then retrieved, and they don't have to enter it in again. Reduces the amount of time they have to spend on your site. Ultimately, makes for happier customers, and hopefully the experience is improved, and they'll come back and purchase from you again. The last tab across the top here is something I mentioned earlier: emails. So by default, the WooCommerce system is set up to send out order confirmations to your customer when they make a purchase. You'll also get a order confirmation come from WooCommerce and your WordPress website to say that you've made a sale. Depending on how you dispatch things, you can choose to send a delivery note to the customer when when you've actually arranged the delivery and it's been picked up and it's been sent out. If you do tracking numbers and things like that, you can configure that to be sent out with the delivery confirmation. So from the emails tab at the top here is where you can set a lot of the default settings. So we obviously set the name of the website as the photography website previously, and the from email is the email that we set in the previous webcast. So we scroll down though, the email template. This is where you can customize the appearance of your email. It's really, really good. It kind of reaffirms your website branding. So here you've got header image at the top. You can use the media uploader to upload an image, and that would be, say, your company icon that would appear at the top of the email when it gets sent out. You can set the email footer text here, so you could add in your Facebook and Twitter profile, for example, or an email address for them to contact you if there's a problem with delivery or anything like that. And then down the bottom here, you can set the colours of all the emails as well. So you'd want to align this with the branding of your website to kind of reinforce brand identity when you're sending out these emails. So that's kind of a really quick overview of a lot of the settings. It's a lot to take in, but the ones I've really highlighted are the things you need to properly consider before you start selling online. So let's come down to the products option and add a couple of different types of products. So from the products menu, when you click on it, the default screen is very similar again to your posts and pages and your WooCommerce orders screen. As you create your products, all your products will appear in this list here. You can come in as you've created them, edit them, put them on sale, for example, mark them as out of stock if you've had a sudden run on particular products. But all your products, once you configure them, will be listed on this screen. So we'll hit the Add Product button at the top there. And this page that opens up is pretty familiar to anyone that's used WordPress before. It's the same as the Add Posts and Add Pages screen. So right at the top here, we've got a box for the product name. So we'll set this one as Beach in Cornwall. Prepared some text to make this a little bit easier. So let's open up this and grab the description. So this first dialog box that we're pasting text into is your product description. So ultimately, the first product that we're going to sell is going to be a downloadable product for your customers, whereby they'd be able to reuse one of the images that we're making available as a photographer. So here's a quick description at the top here for the product. As we scroll down, this is how you actually configure the different types of products. We're going to keep it as a simple product in this case, but check the downloadable product. So as we move further down then through the settings, we've got the regular price. So we'll set the price in there. WooCommerce comes with the functionality to put products on sale at any time as well. So you can come in and edit a product as you go along, set in a lesser price, and it kind of has that functionality that you'd expect to see on the front end. I'll show you this again in a bit, but ultimately you'd see the price, the original price, in this case $29.99 crossed out, and then the new price at $24.99. It adds a lot of the marketing material to the site, so I'll add sale badges and things like that. It's really kind of good with a lot of the functionality that it has straight out of the box. Actually, we'll keep that on sale for the time being. So coming down here, we've got downloadable files. So we'll click on Add File, add a name for the file. So beach scene. And then we'll choose the file and we'll upload the images to the website. So it's the media library and the upload functionality that we've seen in the previous webcast. Click on Upload Files and click on Select. And we'll choose the two files that we've got here. And click on Open. Okay, those have not uploaded. Let's just close that and we'll upload them another way. So we'll come up to the top here and save the draft in the same way as you have with posts and pages. At any point while you're halfway through, if you're not ready to publish the actual product, you can click on Save, and that will then just appear in the Products menu across the left-hand side here. We come up to the Media Gallery and we'll go to Add New, and we'll try uploading these images from here. Okay, that looks like it's going to work. So along the left-hand side here, we've clicked on Products, and we've got the draft of the product that we were just working on a moment ago. So clicking on the title of the product takes us back into it. If we scroll back down, come back to our downloadable files, and we'll continue entering this in. So give it a name of the product, and we'll choose the file that we just uploaded a second ago. So here are the two files that you can see in the media uploader. They both look exactly the same from the thumbnail point of view, but as you click on them, it gives you a bit of information across the top there, the size of the file, and significantly in this case, the dimensions of the file. As we click on the other one, you can see here it changes down to 800 by 492. So that's the file that we're going to display on the front end of the website, and then this is the file that we're going to make available to the customer when they purchase the image. So click on Insert File, and you can see the URL of the file appears in there. With downloadable products, you have a couple of additional options that you probably need to consider as well. So download limit, how many times you want to make the product available to download. So when they receive that email with the full high-res link in there, when they click on it, you can set a limit to how many times they can download it. So in this instance, we'll set it to 3, and then download expiry. It may be that they make a purchase of the product, and then for one reason or another are not immediately able to click on the link. So we'll let the download expiry be for 7 days. So it gives them a bit of time to actually get back to their email and click on the link to download it. So scrolling further down, the last option down the bottom here is the short description. And I'll show you on the front end of where a lot of these settings are in just a moment. So we'll come back to the text document that we've got down here. We'll grab the short description and then paste that in there. So we scroll back up. There's a couple more options that are quite important and worth covering. The featured image. So this is the image that the customer sees on the front end of the website. So we'll click on that. Again, we want to actually display the lower res, or the smaller image this time, and that's the one on the left-hand side there. Clicking on that, we get the tick in the top right-hand corner, and then we'll set the product image. See, that should appear there. There we go. And as you scroll up, product categories and product tags. So I discussed this in the first webinar that we did when we set up the basic website. When you're adding posts to the site, it's always a really good idea to categorize and tag them. And the same still kind of stands true with when adding products to the site as well. What it really comes down to is how many products you're actually going to be selling. If you're going to be selling, if your product catalog is in the thousands, then categorizing and tagging your products is a really good idea. It allows your customers a much easier way of finding the products perhaps that they want to sell. If your catalog, if your product catalog is quite small, if you're only selling half a dozen images, then categorizing and tagging them probably isn't quite so important. All your products will be displayed in quite a small space on one page of the website, and they'll be able to see everything that you sell anyway. So scrolling up, we're happy that all the changes that we've made to the product, we're happy all those are, and we're good to go and publish the product. We click on the button there, saves all the changes that you've made, and then gives you a confirmation at the top here that the product has been published. So if we come back to the front end of the website, click on the shop link again, and the page loads up, and as we scroll down, here you can see the product that we've just configured and published to the website. So you can see there's a thumbnail image of the product that we're selling, the title of the product. You can see where we set it on sale in the back end there. Automatically we get the sale badge in the top right hand corner there, and it highlights the previous selling price and the new selling price, or the sale selling price on the front here as well. For simple products like this, the call to action button is automatically set up, allows you to straight away, just with one click, put it into your cart and in theory check out very, very quickly. If you click on the thumbnail image or the title though, it takes you into the product and obviously gives the customer a little bit more information. So there we've got the title that we set, the sale price, or the original price and the sale price, and here's where the short description that we set when we were ready for the product appears on the front end. Underneath here we've got the product quantity. You can adjust the quantity that the customer might want to purchase using the plus and minus arrows, or you can just edit the input in the box in here. And then your add to cart button, which puts it into the cart for you. The full description is listed on the first tab, and then the reviews tab shows the ratings and reviews that previous customers perhaps that have bought the product have come back and they've left you feedback. It's a really good idea to try and encourage your happy customers to come back and leave glowing reviews. Word of mouth is a really good kind of recommendation to see that the previous people that have bought the product really helps with sales. It's kind of a proven technique to increasing your sales by having good reviews. So that's showing you kind of how a simple, quite a basic product is configured and added to the site. If we go back into the back end now and we'll add another product, so we'll come down to the Add Product link. Click on that. So this time we'll do probably a more traditional or normal product rather than a downloadable product. So this time it will be a physical good that you would, when the customer buys it, you would actually dispatch and deliver to the customer. So what we're going to do, we're going to add a couple of different variations as well. So let's jump straight in. Actually, before we go ahead and configure the product, we'll come down to the attributes option underneath the product menu on the left-hand side here. We'll add the new attribute group. So again, continuing the theme, we'll set framing options as the attribute name or the attribute group name, and click on attribute, add attribute at the bottom here. There we can see the attribute groups being created. If you then click on the name, and we'll go in and we'll add some actual individual attributes as well. So we'll do canvas, click on add new framing option, black frame, and white frame. Okay, so there's the three that we've just created on the right-hand side here. So if we come back in and add product again, we'll show you how you add those product variations to the product itself. So we'll set the title this time of Food in Cornwall. Come back to our text document and add in our large description. Paste that in there. As we scroll down, previously we kept the product type as a simple product and check downloadable. This time we're going to, from the select box, choose variable product. You'll see a few of the options disappear, and we'll see where they appear on the other tabs as we progress through here. Coming down to attributes, then we need to pull in the attributes that we just created for this product. Choose framing options from the drop-down list and click on Add. The framing options dialog box appears, at which point, if you click on Select All of those attributes or variations, that's what they will now be, get pulled into the dialog box here. And we want to make sure that we've checked the Use for Variations tick box here. Click Save Attributes at the bottom and come down to Variations. And this is where we set up the product variations. Link all the variations and click on OK. The dialog box pops up confirming that we've got 3 variations have been added. And again, then clicking on OK. And you can see now how we configure and set those variations. So we've got the black frame variation, the canvas variation, and the white frame variation. Come up to the top here, we can set the regular price. So black frame, let's set this at $89.99. It's not on sale, so we won't fill in the sale price. We'll set the stock quantity at 100, and we'll set the weight at 5 kilograms. As you scroll down to the canvas option, so this is the more basic one. So let's make that slightly less. Let's do $69.99. Again, 100 products in stock, and we'll set weight at 2.5 kilograms. And then finally, the third option, we've got the white frame. So that's similar to the black frame. We'll set the same price, the order, the stock quantity, and we'll set the weight to 5 kilograms as well. Let's set the images for each of these variations as well. So if we come to the thumbnail here and click on it, go to Upload Files, and we'll upload some additional images for this type of product. So we've got the additional image, holding down Control or Command on a Mac, and then doing multiple select to upload more than one image at once, and then click on Open. And they're uploading okay. So you can see there we've uploaded a image to appear on the website, a high-res version of the image. If we come to, in the future, we come to actually sell that in a similar way to the first product that we created, where we allow the customer to buy the original image at a high resolution. And then our two framing options that we're going to use as well. So in this case, we want to set the black frame for the black frame variation. And as we scroll down, we'll set the canvas option. Just use the normal image for the canvas option, and then finally the white frame. We'll set the variation there. Last option down the bottom here, the product short description. So we'll come back to our copy that we created earlier. Take a copy of that and paste it in. And then as we scroll up, on the right hand side, we'll set our featured image again. This time we'll make use of the product gallery feature as well. So we'll click on that and we'll add our two variations to the product gallery. And then scroll up. We're happy that we've set up everything that we want to set up there, so we'll click on Publish. So it saves the product and makes it live on the front end of the website. You get the product published confirmation dialog box at the top there, or product published message at the top there. And as we come back to the front end of the website, and click on the shop button again. If we scroll down, we can then see the second product that we just configured. So again, works in a pretty similar way. The big difference this time is that you have a price range displayed on the shop index here. So it shows, it takes into consideration the variations on the product that we set up. So the canvas being $69.99, and then the framed options being $89.99. The significant difference on here, though, because there are variation options, you can't just add straight to cart. You actually have to go into the product, or the user would have to go into the product and actually configure it before they add it to the cart. So the image, the title, or the select options button all takes you to the same place, takes you into the product detail. And as we scroll down, there we can see the range, the price range set by the variations, the introduction or the short description. And then the big difference this time is we've got a framing option select box. And here you can see the three variations that we created. So clicking on black frame updates the image on the left hand side here to confirm that we're using the black frame option, and it sets the price at the higher price of $89.99. Canvas, and you can see it's set at $69.99, and white frame at $89.99. It's often the case that you'll find you'll get a lot of products that are very similar, just with slight color variations or something, and this is how you would do it in the back end. You'd create your attributes and then add, sort of set the product as a variable product, and then configure those individual variations. Scrolling down, very similar to the simple product as well. We've got the full description and then the reviews and rating section. So let's go ahead now. We've entered in a couple of the products. We'll go ahead and actually add a product to the cart. So we've got the white framing option that we're happy with at $89.99. We click on Add to Cart. You get a confirmation message appear at the top that your product has been successfully added to the cart. We added the cart menu option at the top here, or you can just click on the button provided here to go into the cart and actually view what you've got listed. So you get another confirmation of what you've added to your cart. Pretty standard kind of functionality. Shows the thumbnail, product description, the price, the quantity, and the total. This is where you could adjust it. Any final adjustments based on what you actually want. You could adjust the quantity and click on Update Cart. You'll see then that the total updates and the cart subtotal updates as well as you scroll down. We mentioned coupons earlier, or vouchers. If you have some sort of campaign at the moment, maybe they have 10% off the product or £25 off the Booed Cornwall product, for example. This is where your customer could enter in the coupon code and click on Apply Coupon. Would then adjust the totals based on the actual discount. Scrolling down, you get another cart subtotal, and this is where the shipping or delivery options are listed. So you can see here the two that we configured earlier, free shipping on a 7-day delivery, or if we actually chose the expedited delivery, it might arrive in 3 days, for example, but it cost them £10. You can then see the order total is adjusted appropriately. So we're happy. Let's go through the checkout process, and I'll kind of show you how that works from the customer point of view. We click on Proceed to Checkout. And you can see here on the checkout page you have two different forms that you can fill in. The billing details and the ship to a different address. Depending on how you configure your site, you might allow your customers to purchase items and have them delivered to a different address. There's an option in the back end where you can enable and disable this. But ultimately, the billing details, so where if they're paying by card, for example, on PayPal, where the card is registered to, so they'd enter in their name and address. Let's go through the process of doing this. If they're a business, they can set their company name there. We set the town, we set the county. The customer would enter in their postcode. Let's do our postcode here. Customer would set their email address. So joe.blogs. And they'd set their customer telephone number as well. Note all the fields that have the star next to them, they're mandatory fields. Just means you make sure that you get all the information you need from your customers. Again, it's configurable through the back end. You can add extra fields if there's certain other information that you need to collect from your customers as they're checking out. Customer has the option to ship to a different address currently. They uncheck that, and it just leaves the order notes, and they know then that their product or the items that they're purchasing will be delivered to the billing address. So as we scroll down to the bottom, again the customer gets another confirmation of what they've ordered. So the two white framing products at Food in Cornwall. Know that they've set flat delivery rate, but they could make a decision to change that to radio button. And then finally at the bottom there's the two payment processing options that we configured earlier. The bank transfer and the PayPal option. You go ahead and select PayPal and click on Proceed to PayPal, and we'll kind of demonstrate what we were talking about earlier. This is where the site, we need to actually set a phone field. I didn't listen to my advice about the asterisk and it being a mandatory field. Set a telephone number in there, we'll click on Proceed to PayPal. So really good example kind of there. The WooCommerce checks to make sure that your fields are entered, and it gives a really helpful message to the customer, letting them know what what fields the customer has missed and what they need to fill in before they can proceed to the actual payment. So PayPal website loads up. This is where the customer would enter in their email address and password to log into PayPal and then confirm the payments. Once they've clicked that, PayPal then redirects them back to their site where they see the order confirmation page. We'll demonstrate that actually by doing the back payment. So if we hit back, we'll change our payment decision. We'll go to direct bank transfer. Click on bank, place order. For direct bank transfer, you want to make your bank account, your sort code, for example, available to the customer. Again, these are options that you can set in the back end, all through the WooCommerce settings options. So there we've got our product or order confirmation page. Again, confirms what the customer has just ordered, gives them their order number, the date they ordered and the totals, that they've ordered by or chose to pay by direct bank transfer. And again, further confirmation details. As you scroll down, you can see the billing address, shipping address. So this pretty much covers everything I wanted to discuss today. Matt, have we been having some questions coming in?
We have, yeah. We've got some, I've been taking notes as we've been going along. Thanks for typing them in. I've got one from Mike, first of all, Ben. He says, can you apply product rules globally, like VAT and offers on products?
Okay, yeah, that's a really good question, actually. I probably only touched on that earlier, but yeah, if you've enabled VAT on your website because you're VAT registered, and the products or some of the products that you sell you don't charge VAT on, you can set them with a different VAT class. If we come back into the back end and go to WooCommerce and go down to settings, this is what I touched on earlier with the on the tax options. Tab and then click on standard rates, and this is where you'd set up your different tax options in here. So you'd set up a 20% one, and you'd set up a 0% one. Save the changes, and then when you configure the product, we go back into our products menu. Say, for example, this was children's clothing where we don't charge VAT on. You can come in and you can configure the option to use a different, got different shipping classes. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's a really good question. You definitely can set it up. We'll have a look at that and get back to you. Was that Mike, was it?
It was Mike, yeah.
Yeah, Mike, we'll drop you an email and just confirm exactly how to configure that. But yeah, just so you are aware, you can definitely configure it on an individual basis.
So it's easy updating. It gives you more time, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Hope that answers your question, Mike. Moving on to Tom, and he asks, how can you use other payment methods?
Okay, yeah, so we discussed when we were configuring the site the fact that you can use different payment providers. So it comes by default, if we go back into the settings, it comes by default with Bax, check, cash on delivery, and PayPal. There's a couple of different payment providers that you might want to consider using that are really, really good. A competitor to PayPal has come about over the last couple of years called Stripe. Stripe's really, really good. It's marginally less expensive than PayPal on a per transaction basis. And the really good thing about Stripe is, providing you've set up the SSL certificate, you can give the impression, or ultimately you can take credit card payments on your website, as opposed to redirecting to a different site like how PayPal does it. So when we got to the checkout page previously, we could have chosen credit card as a payment option, and the standard kind of credit card form would be displayed. So a input field for the credit card number, the expiry date, the CV code on the back of the credit card. You'd enter in all these details and click on proceed, and the payment would be taken. Now, what actually happens, it kind of gets around the PCI compliance, which is like a kind of a legal requirement when taking credit card information. It's a secure form that comes from Stripe, and the processing, although it appears to the customer that it's done on your site, it's actually done with a secure form that comes from Stripe itself. So two major plus points there, that the customer's not leaving your site to make the payment. They're able to make credit card payments without having a PayPal account, and it creates a really good impression with your customer that you're a professional setup and are able to take credit card payments on the site.
That's really good. So more options means more sales.
Yeah, absolutely. So sorry, one thing I probably should have mentioned there as well, because Stripe's not a default checkout option, there's a really good WooCommerce plugin. So in a similar sort of way that we added WooCommerce to WordPress as a plugin, there's another plugin for WooCommerce called Striper.com or Striper, and it allows you to then add Stripe that we just talked about as a payment option. And then once you've enabled that plugin, you would have Stripe as an option across the top bit, and you'd come in and you'd enter in your Stripe details to be able to take payments via Stripe.
Yeah, it's a brilliant thing about WooCommerce and WordPress. You can keep extending that functionality every time.
Yeah, really, really customizable. Yeah, that's definitely the really good thing about it.
So moving on, because we are short on time now, just one last one from Susan, and she asks, cross-selling customers also bought. I imagine that's like you get on Amazon.
Yeah. That's a really good question, and WooCommerce actually has that functionality built in. If we come back to the product menu, we'll edit one of the products and make and add the other product as an upsell or a cross-sell. So let's come into the Bood Cornwall one and edit that product. As we scroll down, we've got linked products here. So the tab here gives you the upsells and cross-sells options. So we type in food there and do a search. So we've just added the other products that we configured in this webinar today. So you could add as many products as you wanted as your upsells, and in a similar sort of way as your cross sells in here. So let's add food again. If we save the changes there, actually I'm editing the food one, aren't I? Let's add the beach one in there. That would make a bit more sense. You don't really want to upsell the same product. Add the alternative products and click on update. So if we come back to the shop and go in and have a look at the food products, this time as we scroll down underneath the product description, you now have a you may also like section. So yeah, it's a really, really good way. It's functionality is built into it, but it's a really good way of potentially increasing the cart total on your customers when they come in and make a purchase. So any natural kind of upgrades or more complex or better products that have a higher charge, you can add here and display them and try and upsell to your customers.
There you have it, Susan. I can't believe how easy that was to do as well.
Yeah, really straightforward.
So just going to finish off the presentation now. Let's just bring that back up to the slides. And obviously, WooCommerce being free, obviously you need the foundation to build that upon. So as part of our Linux packages there, we provide one-click installs of WordPress, which makes it dead easy to get you online, and then you can install a plugin for free. And we've got packages there for single domain names and also multi-domain hosting, so you can have more than one domain name, more than one shop online. And our contact details listed below. You can contact us on webinars at freeobt.com, and our telephone numbers and our websites there, names.co.uk and register 365. Thanks for signing up today. Keep an eye on our online business training channel. Thanks again to Ben. Thanks very much.
No problem.
And this website webinar will be uploaded to YouTube shortly if you want to go through it at your own pace. So looking forward to see your shops online soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks.